evening.
Good evening.
Well, at first I thought I was just performing a normal poetry night. I got here, I asked Jenny, so when am I performing in the set list? She said, after the second act, midway through. Second act's coming to a close. She passes along her phone and goes, by the way, you're in the headlining slot. Which, by the way, terrifying, but very exciting. So I am a university student, just started at UEA. It's been very interesting there. But I didn't bring a glue stick with me, which means I can't stick in these poems into my book, which is very annoying. The first one we start with is actually one I kind of wrote specially for this event. So, are you guys aware of sort of the Pylons project that's going from this village of Terling to somewhere in Norfolk?
Yes.
Well, I live in a hamlet just over from Terling, so I hear a lot about it. So this is entitled From Terling. What is now a housing estate lies my secret birthing place. Where my mother gave birth next to a cow, someone's little sister was the last to be greeted there by a hospital. It's strange, truly, how many of us are in on the St. John's secret. I remember when all of this was fields, I proclaimed at 10. In just a few short years, where I'd fended off aliens and prepared for zombie invasion, stood the soulless corpse of bricks and mortar. Not a garden between buildings. Not a home between houses. It used to be so quiet around here, so peaceful until the National Grid showed up. How'd I write scram in sticks just so the pilot can see, or would it not matter? Would it be as meaningless as the bright orange cardboard that screams for offshore energy? If the farmer must lose his land and the crops their home, what will the metal offer in return? There are pylons to start from Terling, metal proof of moneymakers and desperate deeds of oil riggers. Pylons, unstable energy source that saps from the world around. Pylons, all through my hamlet, all through the east, all a bullet through the peace. Right now, I am looking at the fields because I can see my home is all fields. I am 19. I can see the fucking fields. I know where the wasps hide each summer and where the pheasants rung. I can thread my fingers through March's bluebell blankets and map where my den is hidden, because I can see the fields of Fairstead and Terling, and I am them. I can hear the wind whip over the hills and the dogs bark in the brook and every note of birdsong, because Terling is a village, a small village, and I live in the hamlet next door. From Terling there will be pylons, but I'll remember when it was all fields. Now, I'm transmasc, I know, very surprising. And so I am very privy to the transphobia and I'm almost disillusioned by it, hence this next one. It's called my Pre-Epitaph. I stand by my gravestone and wait. Take a shot. Aim for my soft head and fresh face. Expel my brains, but tell my mother where I am. Tell her what you did to her only child. How tasty his lamb's flesh was. Remind her I was he, too. If I am so far from natural, why can't you kill me now? What do my sinful eyes matter to you? Do you not remember the bleach in my water that burnt my throat? Do you forget the knife filling up my hungry stomach? What do you think became of my beating heart when you served it up for lunch? What difference does a brain make? I'm a spider. I'm more scared of you than you are of me, or it. I'm easily crushed, made only of hairy legs and a misshapen body. It's cowardly how scared you are of me. You sit there, so blasé, but I am ablaze. If I am near to ash, would you like me better if I was ash? If I made myself a punching bag, if I made myself a sex doll, would I be a better match? Would I be more worthy of respect? Would I be finally more human to you? Now, this next one also continues on the trans theme. It is somehow more depressing. Inspired by my friend Ren, who I go to university with, they did this amazing photography project for their A-levels about being trans. They showed it to me in the library and they said, Axea, just to warn you, there's transphobia in here. Are you okay with that? And I went, sure, nothing can hurt me now. Oh boy, was I wrong! In there's photos flashing up Brianna Guy, and I think we all remember where we were when we heard about her murder. So this is about that. 13th of February 2023. She was a girl in a stripy jumper with a messy bun. She was a girl with a smile as bright as any other. She was a girl whose dance I should have scrolled away from, but whose static image stopped me. A-level revision blurred out of focus, the video mouth muted and contorted into inhuman shape under the weight of high-pitched squealing and defeat. The edges of my desk scratched my arms like bullets, the arms of my chair scratched at my thighs, and I was reminded that here is where home would never be. No part of me in no world could ever feign surprise at what happened. No broadsheet print, no brutal tweet. I could not even begin to bring myself to scream at the twin twists of serrated-edged knives in my heart or my back small. No milk was spilt, no vomit was ejected, no thoughts and prayers issued, just a garbled sob and a tired, why, again, I wasn't shocked. The air ripped from my lungs, the dryness of my mouth, it was all by rote, muscle memory, kicking in as I wiped the tears of lethargy from my face. For the rest of the day, there was an impassive me, a dead me, a disappointed but not surprised me. I could pretend in front of blood, family and friends that it was studying childhood wearing me down, as the cast of disillusionment moulded to my every feature. I knew it wasn't a lie. Why a child? Why a girl who should have been heart-eyed over prom, dressed and posing for pictures? Why a girl who'd never get her first driving lesson or feel the thrill of driving her friends around? Why a girl who never gotten the chance to proudly flash her driver's license experience? Why a girl who was just discovering herself? As I laid on the carpet that gnawed on exposed flesh, it occurred to me that she would soon be one of millions. Another name for another statistic that would be a mere number, an unreality for the world. Another sitting duck for a poacher, another chrysalis squashed before she could become a butterfly, another ribbon of lace and snowflake uniqueness ripped from a fairy tale dress, another reminder that none of us are safe, that no one really cares, that we're all invisible or blood-soaked, that Brianna will probably be forgotten and the world will move on. Now, to bring up the tone a little bit with a slightly happier one, this one I may or may not perform the Halloween poet. Please go, guys. Please dress up. This one nearly went in my portfolio for UEA. It's called Hunters Beware. It's just about how much I love our community. Amongst the shadows, your fluorescent searchlights invade our peace. We exist in the forest, we are the trees. You cannot be rid of us. You demonize our darkness whilst condemning us to it. In your absence, we made the nights our days, the moon our closest confidant. We dance in the face of your fires, sing before the swords that tried to kill us. Our home, our shelter, it's somewhere you cannot penetrate. We haunt your white picket fences, possess your white families. We are alive, we are wildlife, we are nature's projects. As you charge at us with wooden stakes, we must remind you, you forced us to adorn ourselves with silver and splinter our hearts with sticks, and yet we emerged, barely changed by the flesh wounds you sought to inflict. With sharp nails and razor wit, we fight against you. We shimmer in the starlight and pray to an altar of kinship. Hunters beware, we are stronger than any one of you. Hunters beware, we are the trees in the forest, old as time. Hunters beware, we are here to stay, forever alive, forever visible. Now, this penultimate one did actually make it into my portfolio. I wrote it a year ago when I was hyperfixating on Appalachian folklore and how religious trauma fits into Gothic stuff. It's entitled Church, Chapel, Charlatan. Listen to me, Father, for I am sin. I come here to this place of refuge begging for acceptance, not forgiveness. I possess shadows and shades far beyond these picket fences. My holy eccentricities are curses, indicators that all is not well. I am sick of mind, heart, and composure, deluded enough to believe that I belong in temples I can never dream of access to. Since I ran, oh, how I ran, from the promise of innocent entrapment, I have been pursued. The ghost of a devil priest demands I wash myself of sin. I was but a child when you shoved the bar of soap down my throat. Unlike the soaring dove that lathered the lips, there was nothing pure about his intentions. Divine intervention never came. I've been left abandoned in the same forest where the eyes in the trees beg me to repent. I bleed purple, neither royal nor human. I've been sighted, spited and smote, crown of thorns becoming a necklace, an incomplete jigsaw. sits in front of me. Flesh hacked away by weapons beyond the veil, my axed ambition, my shorn self, an outline of blunt incisions. Once upon a time cannot bring me back to acceptance. No longer a church girl, I sit upon a hill, among the spirits that scar my liver and conscience. I suppose it isn't all that different, not that like I cannot play at godliness and purity, shock it away and suppress, until nothing's left. Until no one notices that they aren't the only charlatans in the church chapel. Now, this final one, so the course I'm doing at UEA is Creative Writing and English Literature. In the second week, we were looking at two visionaries, Julian of Norwich, Marjorie Kemp. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think our lecturers expected my group of friends, all a bunch of gay people, to get as attached to Marjorie Kemp as we did. Bear in mind, this woman was a visionary, went through postpartum depression. She said after one kid to her husband, "Hey, God says I shouldn't have any more kids." He went, "Oh, I'll wait until I get the vision." She had 13 more! And then she was allowed to stop, and her main form of devotion was weeping, and she honestly went through it. And all my friends and I think she needs a hug and a bit of Mitski, so... So this is my poem to Marjorie Kemp. I wrote it just before I went to see The Last Dinner Party. Abigail Morris, if you're watching this, one chance, please. So this is what you deserved. Here I, and a few other queers, reach across the spin of centuries of change to hold you in a loving embrace. Deep in my 21st century, deep in my agnostic soul, I need to trace the stretch marks of 14 too many and tell you that there was never anything wrong with you. Along the lattices of this spider web weaved by time, you need to know that the devil never tortured you and that you are more than a creature. You should not have had to have been meek or have been forced to box in your beauty or eternal worship. For your tears I will dab your eyes with a silken handkerchief and a blanket to hand. I will hug you close to my chest, enough so you can hear a heartbeat that isn't your own. I will teach you every curve of every vowel, every phonetic sound that exists, and I will watch as you paint your words like brushstrokes, because I wish you had needed neither the German nor the priest. My friends and I give you gifts of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Mitski, and a copy of the Diagnostic Manual for Postpartum Depression. But above all, we give you our undying love. Dear Marjorie, a complete work of artistry and humanity. We send you our love.